Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Mixed Media and Beyond, and to me, Jolene. And I've got a little project for you with stars that's going to happen over the next few videos. And I'm going to talk you through how to make some little paper boxes, which we are going to create together. And then filling them with all sorts of different wonderful things, a little assemblage of beautiful moments. So I'm going to show you to start off with how you make a basic template to make a box. And with that, what I mean is an open box, so a shadow box is what they're often called. And there's no, I'm not going to give you any particular measurements because I want you to be able to create whatever size box you want out of a piece of paper. So I'm currently creating just the basic template, and you'll notice that when I use my ruler, I place it very flat. The bottom edge of my ruler I place flat against the piece of A4 paper so that I know I'm drawing a straight line. And I'm drawing my lines all the way from top to bottom, so almost drawing a big wide cross in the middle of my big piece of paper. And the square that is left in the middle, that's going to be the base of my box. That's going to be the inside of it. That's going to be what you can see. But we want to make some nice, thick, high sides of different heights. So each box is going to have different heights. Each box is going to be a different base of the box. I promise you, once you've made one, it becomes very logical why you do what you do. So we use different wide objects to make our sides, and what I mean by that is that each side, so at the moment I'm working on the right hand side, we're going to create two widths of that side. So I've made one, and you can see I've drawn the line all the way from top to bottom, and now I'm drawing another line that just intersects. We need to have two sides, so this is 2 times the width, and then either side of that we've just got 1 times the width. That's going to make much more sense when you cut it all out. And I'm going to do the same for that all the way round. Now the reason that we need 2 times the height of whatever our sides are going to be is because when we fold them over, we want those sides to be nice and thick, nice and sturdy. It doesn't matter what paper they're made out of, as long as you've got 2 of them, and when we flap them over on top of each other at the end, they will be nice and thick and they'll be able to hold your box up. And the reason why we do a sort of what I call a one height line in between, is because they are going to create the flaps with which we're going to stick our box together. I promise you this is all going to make sense. That shaded area that I'm filling out now, that's all going to be cut off. None of that will exist. We're going to be left with a sort of cross that's almost like a castle cross all the way round. So I'm going to leave you watching this bit, and I'll come back to you once we do the next bit. So I've left this template in here. You can screenshot that, and then you know roughly what you're trying to construct. Cut out your box shape. And again, at the moment, I'm just doing this on a piece of white paper so that you can see what we end up with. But I'm going to construct my boxes out of all sorts of manner of things. I've got some painty sheets that I haven't used. I've got a couple of scrapbook papers that I want to use, some magazine sheets, part of an old box. You can use anything you want. And the only thing that you need to bear in mind is that when you're doing all this drawing, the side that faces you as you're marking it all up and drawing it all up, that side is going to be the inside of your box. That's what you're going to see on the inside, and whatever you want to see on the outside, that will become more important on the next video. That needs to be facing down onto your table. So here you can see me cutting along just some of the flaps, so not going all the way along the box, just one side of those flaps. Obviously with this it's much easier for you to be viewing it than listening to me. I'm going to be talking a lot of nonsense about flaps and tucks and sticks and I'll let you watch what on earth I'm doing. So then you fold along all of the lines, and that's going to make for an easier box when you come to doing it. So I'm going to let you watch this, and I'm going to waffle on for a little bit now because you're going to see me take exactly the same principles as we've just done. So creating a box in the middle and then creating 2 times the height on all of my side pieces all the way around. You're going to see me doing that on another sheet in a minute. But let me tell you why I'm doing this. First off, in the month of February on our Facebook community group, which is Mixed Media and Beyond Community, you're more than welcome to join, the links of which are below. The theme this month is Into the Stars. So last month we had a beautiful journey into the pebbles on a beach. This month it's about the stars. And as such, my colleague Lucy has been doing lots of wonderful work over on her YouTube channel. If you join the Facebook page, you will find the links to all that there, as well as if you join the WhatsApp group, which is also in the links. So go ahead and have a look at that. Anyway, this month, all about stars. And I was in a charity shop, probably just before Christmas, and I found this little plastic box that I showed at the beginning of this video full of these little star beads. And they're so shiny and lovely, and I thought, how can I best make something out of those? And quite often people ask me, how do you get your ideas? Where do you get all your crazy ideas from? The reality is that they always start with something I've found in a charity shop. I will often come home and say to my husband, look what I found. And then from that pivots an idea. And so the idea of this whole STARS project is literally about if an apothecarian, if a librarian was able to capture the stars, how would she display them? And so that's what I'm doing. I'm making little boxes and I'm going to display them. So we'll see how that progresses over the next few videos. They won't be too far apart from each other. I will probably upload another one in a couple of days and so and so. So keep your eyes out for the videos. So here's a whole collection of those cut out, ready folded cards made out of all sorts of different paper leftover materials. It's a really good way to use up some of your ephemera if you've ended up with a lot. Okay, so next task, we're going to start adding some texture. I always talk to my groups, my in-house groups, about the 3 T's of mixed media. And that is T for tone, that's all the different colours that you might use. T for texture, which is all of the different textures that you use, whether that is fabric or whatever, and then T for tactile, what becomes playful. And if you can get those 3 things in balance, then you'll end up with a really nice mixed media piece. So here what I'm going to do now is use various things that I've got lying around to create some texture on the back pieces of these boxes. Now notice what I'm not doing yet is folding all these boxes up and gluing them together. I'm literally now playing on that back panel, which will be the middle piece of our box. I'm playing on that and adding all sorts of different things. So here I've got some corrugated cardboard. I think I add some fabric into another one, and then some leftover collage paper and bits and pieces, anything that you can find to stick to the backs of those boxes. It doesn't need to have anything to do with stars, it's just to add a little bit of something. So here, that's an old newspaper that I've bought from France, just adding bits and pieces and having a play. So this piece you're seeing me stick on here, I rescued it from the bin. I'd been doing something else with it. In fact, I think I made another box. I've pre-made about 8 of them, and it was just looking at me in the box, and I thought, out of the bin, and I thought I can't not use that. So let's pop that on there too. So these are the the layers I've used to decorate my boxes, but you can decorate yours with whatever you want. Maybe you'll get some paint out and just decorate the backs. I fancied having a play with things that weren't too messy. So my next layer is lines of a poem, and I'm going to show you 2 ways that you can add some lines from a poem. Oh, and by the way, stay watching right to the end of this video because I've got a challenge for you all. So keep your eyes peeled. So lines from a poem, I've simply found a poem that had something to do with the night sky, I believe, and it was called The Night Watcher. And I've cut those up so that I can add them to the backs or to the inside of the box of these pieces. Do, by the way, get hold of your glue stick, swipe a whole great big layer of it on your index finger, point it at the like button and hit it, please. It really helps. It really helps. And it's really lovely when you're providing content like this to know that somebody's got their eye on you because, you know, if nobody had their eye on me, all sorts of nonsense could happen. Yeah, so hit the like button, that'd be really great. And do send me a comment if you like what we do or if you have any ideas of things you might want me to have a go at. But yeah, so sticking these pieces of poem down, they don't have to go in any particular order. This box here will not end up being a landscape facing. It will be still vertical, but I like to have my words in various directions. Okay, here's another way to add your words. So this is another poem from another book that is to do with the sky. It's actually to do with the moon saying goodbye to the, I think it's the moon, it's either the moon or the sun says goodbye. So in this particular book, the poem is right in the middle of the page. So I've got on one end of that a big blank section of paper. So the words are in the middle and you can see one end. So I've kept that end. I'm going to add a bit of glue to that blank end that doesn't have any typeface in it, and then I'm going to wrap it round my knitting needle that you've got up there. You could just as easily use a cocktail stick or perhaps a barbecue skewer, something like that, just wrapping it round so that each of the ends of my lines of poem have a coil at the top, a sort of opening, a hook. And you can see just by above my fingers there's a safety pin. I bet you know what's coming next. By the way, when you curl these up, firstly, please know that I'm using a very strong craft glue. It isn't just a Pritt stick. This is a Pritt stick by Tombow, which, by the way, is a brilliant glue to use. Hold that coil in place because it's immeasurably annoying when you let go and the spiral just undoes itself. This may look like I did it all in one attempt. Trust me, there were a few irritating moments, so just curl it on, hold it on. Okay, I've got a piece of washi tape here. Do any of you guys find that your washi tape ever sticks? It doesn't seem to ever stick. So I always use a bit of my craft glue on the back of it just to make sure that it sticks down solid. It's never as good as sellotape. Note to all the washi tape constructors, please make your washi tape stick. Anyhow, I'm going to use a piece of that washi tape and I'm going to stick my safety pin down so that it's just underneath the top line of the inside of my box. And then once that's down and secured, I'm just using my knitting needle to make sure that tape is really secure around the edges of that safety pin. Once that's done, I can hook my words on, and then we have a little dingle-dangle crusade of lyrics. And this is where we go back to our 3 T's, right? Tone, texture, tactile. Here's your tactile bit. I wonder if you can think of any other ways to attach your lines of a poem. It's quite nice to have words on a little mixed media piece. So there you go, all stuck down. And you can imagine once that box is put together, they're going to be able to suspend themselves inside the box. It'll be quite fun. Okay, so we've got a bit of texture, we've got some words down there. Now I'm going to add a little bit of shadowing around the inside of my box. So before I glue it all down, I'm going to take my Distress Oxides and just rub some different colours, using that inside line as a bit of a guide to tell me where to go. You don't need to rub on the other creases because they are going to be tucked up inside each other. You won't even see them. If you don't have Distress Oxide, you could use chalk for this bit. You could use pastels. You could get your paint out and do that. But whatever you do, if you're not using a dry product, so Distressed Oxide, though it is an ink, it dries very quick. If you're not using a dry product, make sure it's dry fully before you do the next part where we're going to start sticking things together. Okay, here's the fun bit. So I've got loads of washi tape here, and I want to talk to you about a personal passion of mine. I love things that don't look like they've been made in a factory. I love things that are a bit rough around the edges, a bit grungy, a bit broken and battered like me. And so I'm going to do things in various ways now to these boxes to make it look like that. The first thing is, you can see me here, I'm tearing the top part of all of the flaps that will become our sides. What that means is that when it's stuck down, if you were to view the box from a certain angle, you're going to be able to see those slightly torn edges. It just gives that little bit of an edge to it being a bit battered. The next thing that I'm going to do is that when I come to stick all these pieces together, I'm going to place my washi tape in all sorts of directions. I'm not going to be neat about it. I'm not going to be cutting 1 centimetre exact pieces. Some of my washi tape is going to hook and stick over the edge. Some of my washi tape is going to be linear. It's going to be all sorts of things. If you wanted to, you can make these boxes stick together without doing this washi tape. You can put the flaps inside those tuck pieces, you can put them inside the side flaps as you go over, and that's perfectly acceptable. What I'm giving you is a template to work from. What you do with it is the beautiful part. You could say that I'm planting a seed, you're growing the garden. So you can see I just kind of stick this down again, not quite trusting the glue on the washi tape, so I just rub it over the top of my glue stick in between, and then sticking that washi tape down in all sorts of different ways. And then I've got all my boxes all taped up, all put together, and that's about enough work for today, don't you think? Or maybe, just maybe, if you watch right to the end of this video, you'll see I've got a challenge for you. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!